Hi, I'm Jay Andrews with Laguna Tools. Today we're going to talk about this dynamic duo of machines, the JX8 jointer and the PX16 planer. These are foundation tools or fundamental tools when you start preparing lumber to make into fine furniture. Let's have a look at what these machines are and what they can do to improve your woodworking. Now, to go through and prep your stock correctly, you need to start over here on the jointer. The jointer is going to give you flat boards and square edges that you can then take to the planer. And this kind of leads you toward the order of operations for fine woodworking. You want to rough cut your timber first, just to get it to kind of a rough length, and leave it oversized both in the width and also on the length. Then get it to the jointer so that you can flatten the surface. Once you flatten that surface, you can put that surface up against the fence of the jointer and get a square edge. Both of those sides now are flat and they're square, and then we can take it over to the planer and finally put that flat side down and get a flat top that's now parallel to the bottom with a squared edge, and then we can plane the fourth edge, or we can put it over on the table saw and rip that. Let's go ahead and get our temper set up and our machine set up, and we'll show you how to use the jointer before taking it over to the planer. Anytime you start using woodworking machinery, specifically the jointer or planer in this case, you want to make sure that you're set up for safety. And to set up for safety, I've gone through and used the Supermax rollers, the in-feed and out-feed rollers in front of and behind the machine. And that lets me slide this material, because it's pretty heavy, through the machine with ease. I also want to understand the machine that I'm using, and this is the JX8. It's got the emergency stop switch up here on the control panel. The overhead controls make it easy to use, and I don't have to reach under the machine to do it. But I also have the safety shutoff bar right here. That's a knee bump. And by understanding that and practicing with those ahead of time, I'm ready to go. The other thing you want to make sure you do is use some safety glasses. No more important safety feature than that. And then finally, grab some push handles. These allow you to push your wood through the machine with ease, and if you were to slip, you've got these paddles in front of your hands just to make sure that you're safe. Now that we've got the wood brought in here and all my safety gear, I'm going to show you what we're going to take out on this wood, and that's really this rocking. When this wood is on the table, it should have zero rock from side to side from opposite corners. So I'm going to run it through. It probably will take 2 passes through the jointer. It may take 3 just to go through and get that rocking moment out of here. And once that's out, then we can run the planer. I'm going to use our P-Flux dust collector today. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the button, get that started, and run it through the machine. All right, we're going to check the board here. No wobble, that's great on a single pass. This is an 8-inch wide board, and this maxes out the entire table of the JX8. Now have a look at that finish. That is absolutely amazing, and this is thanks to the ShearTech 2 cutter head that we run in this machine. Now that I've got a beautiful flat surface, what I need to do is get an edge that's also flat, but the edge has to be 90 degrees to this flat surface. In order to do that, I'm going to put it through the jointer again, but this time, instead of indexing the tables, I'm going to index the fence to keep this edge flat and to make this smooth and 90 degrees to my flattened edge. So make sure that you keep your good edge now toward the fence. So I'll flip that, get it set up on the table. My fence is locked. I've checked it already for 90 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and push it through the jointer again using my paddles and get this edge jointed, get it flat, and get it square to the finished edge. The next thing we want to do is to get set up for this cut, and you can actually see how much wobble there is on this side. This is rough sawn on the edge that's going down toward the table. So it's going to get jointed just like the face did, but instead of indexing the tables, I'm going to go through and push this face up against the fence. And again, this might take 1, 2, maybe even 3 passes to get this edge down here square and flat. I'll go ahead and bring it up against the fence, line it up. Let me grab my paddles, get the dust collector going, and we'll get this cut. And the finish is fantastic. I want to check it all the way along here. And I've got a square edge all the way along as well. Well, now I've got a perfectly flat surface or face of this piece of wood. I've got a perfectly flat and 90 degrees square edge to the piece of wood. Now, the next step is to go through and make a flat and parallel side on the back side. That's going to involve the planer. We're going to index the bottom of the wood down to the table. The cutter head is going to now cut the top, and so it'll give me a flat and parallel side. Well, I've gone through and set up the infeed and outfeed rollers up in front of the planer. Now I'll bring the timber over and get it ready to feed through the planer. I want to make sure that I take this side right here that's still rough cut and make sure that it's toward the top. This beautiful finished surface is going to go down toward the bottom. I've got this thing pretty well set for my thickness, and this should be good. Okay, I'm going to run this through. Again, it might take a couple of passes to go through. This is going to make the top surface not only flat but parallel with the bottom. All right, time for safety glasses. I'll get the dust collector going. Start up the planer, gauge the feed. Second pass here. Again, more fantastic surface finish. Now we've got a flat side that is parallel to the bottom side. This side is square. Finally, we need to get this side flat and square to the rest of the board. And the way to do that, it can be done on a table saw, but this is a pretty thick timber. I'm going to use the massive capacity of the PX16 to do a full 8-inch tall cut. Now I've reset the height on the roller stands, both on the infeed and outfeed side. I've got the planer height set. Again, it may take a couple of passes, but we're going to get rid of this rough edge and make it parallel to the bottom edge. Wow, you can see this flawless cut here thanks to the QuadTec 2 cutter head. Now these order of operations will prepare any timber properly for your shop. Face joint, edge joint, plane the opposite side so now it's parallel, and then finally either rip or plane the opposite edge to make sure that you've got properly prepared timber. This will make sure that your furniture comes out perfect and square every time. Well, hopefully you can see that this dynamic duo produces great timbers for great furniture for your shop. Now, this is the 8-inch and 16-inch versions here. We offer joiners in 6-inch. We offer 2 versions of the 8-inch, both with the QuadTec and a 2 horsepower, or the QuadTec 2 and a 3 horsepower motor. We offer a 12-inch. On the planers, we start at 12-inch, go to the 16, up to a 20, 22, and finally a 25 industrial machine. Now, if you have any questions on either of these machines or any of our products, give us a phone call toll-free at 800-234-1976 or look us up on the web at lagunatools.com.